now? I can. All right, I'm going to go ahead and it's recording now. Hello, and welcome back to Cooking, Crafting, and Gardening with Margaret and Mia. Today, we're going to finish up a project that we began last week, and that is decorating cups with Epoxy and Mod Podge. Mod Podge. Now I'm going to, some people say Mod Podge, but it's actually
That's
Mod
fine.
Podge. Now I'm going to turn it over to my friend Margaret, who is going to show you the finished product.
Hello, this is my finished product of my cup that I made for Black History Month. I really like the way it came out with the two different types of ribbons. Thank you, Mia.
You're welcome.
And so I haven't used it yet, but I can't wait to use it.
It's very cute.
And we're so glad to have Ashley back with us to finish the process on making her cups. Ashley?
Thank you, Ashley, for returning.
Oh, no problem. So last week, I took you through the process on how to prepare a cup. We sprayed the cup down, and I'm just going to show you the cup that I did last week. I'm just kind of bragging on myself. So the cup that I did last week was a wood grain cup. So this is what it ended up looking like. But this week, I have another cup that I prepared. It's got the primer on it. It's been sanded down. And what I'm going to do is show you how to put epoxy on it. And then we'll let some time go by, and then I'll show you how to glitter it. So you want to make sure that you have your cup turner. And I'm going to go ahead and stick my cup on there. That way it'll be ready to go. And you want to get a 2-part epoxy. All right. So this is the epoxy that I use. This is just one. It's called Amazing Clear Cast. It's a 2-part epoxy. But you can buy epoxy Michael's, Hobby Lobby, anywhere. Here's another one that I have that I ordered online. So it just needs to be a 2-part epoxy. Now for my base coat, I don't use a whole lot of epoxy because I really just want to get a thin layer of epoxy on my cup. So it's going to act like the glue. That way the glitter will have something to adhere to.
Okay.
So go ahead.
So I'm putting mine on my cup turner.
Okay. So what I've already done is I've already put my epoxy in this little, it's like one of those medicine cups, because you need to make sure that your parts are equal parts. So I put, I think I did 10 milliliters of part A and then 10 milliliters of part B. And then I mixed it up. You want to make sure that you mix it up slowly. It probably takes maybe about 2 minutes to mix. At first, when you start mixing it, it will be cloudy, but you want to just kind of, fold it and then scrape the sides, and then it'll turn back clear again. If you mix it up too fast, you're going to create a lot of bubbles, and you don't want the bubbles. One thing that you can also do to help get rid of the bubbles, this is a heat gun. So I also, my heat gun's not plugged in. Hold on one second. Okay. I'll put my heat gun over the epoxy, kind of moving it around, and that'll get rid of some of those bubbles that are in there, because you just don't want the bubbles on your epoxy. All right, that should be enough. All right, so I think everyone can see my cup and my turner. I'm going to go ahead and turn my turner on. All right, so it's spinning. I don't know if you can tell. And then whenever you use the epoxy, you do need a glove. Some people use 2 gloves. I've gotten pretty good at using, I usually use like 1 glove and 1
I'm going to go get my gloves.
Okay. So I've got my glove, on, and my epoxy is mixed up. And you have to remember, this is just our first layer of epoxy. By the time we finish this cup, we will end up putting probably, maybe 3 layers of epoxy. So now this first layer is going to be, it's going to be a thin layer. You don't want to go too thick, but we do want to make sure that the cup is fully coated, fully covered. So, it's a couple big bubbles. I'm going to get these big bubbles out. All right. Now I am ready to start. All right, and I don't know if you can see, I'm working over wood, I'm working over cardboard, and then I even have my cup on top of a silicone mat. So I'm double protected. It's hard to get epoxy off of any of surfaces. So you want to make sure that you're in an area that can, get epoxy on. So now we're ready to roll. So I'm just going to stick my finger in here. And I'm just going to start rubbing it on the cup, It'll start just turning. Again, all we want is a thin layer, and we want to make sure the layer is a nice, it's coating your whole cup. We don't want to leave any spots that do not have epoxy. This is a self-leveling epoxy. So that way, with it turning, it should dry nice and even. So on this cup, when I do come back, I'm going to try something new glitter-wise on this cup. I'm going to do a cheetah kind of leopard print at the bottom. And then I'm going to do just a solid purple at the top. So that's what I envision on this cup. Now, Mia, you should probably, are you doing your inks? That's going to be a process in itself. I'm not sure that you need to worry about your epoxy right this moment.
Okay.
You want to get your design down, make sure it's something that you like. It generally, when I do the alcohol inks, and I am a bit of a perfectionist, it'll usually take me about an hour before I can get that cup the way I want it to look.
Okay.
So I think as I'm doing this epoxy on here and I'm just spreading it on, I believe my sister is going to show us some alcohol inks. And again, if you're wondering what the alcohol inks are, it's the cup that I showed you before, depending on what color alcohol you have. I did a nice wood grain one. They look a little bit more masculine for my male customers. They like the wood grain. They don't like the sparkly cups.
Okay. Can you hear me, Ashley?
Yes.
Okay, so these are some of the alcohol inks. These are the colors that I've selected because I'm going to try my hand at making a wood grain cup. This will be my first time to make one. So I have selected coffee, brown, and then lemon yellow to try to achieve the wood grain finish look. And this is my first time, so Ashley is going to walk me through the process.
Right. So Mia, what I would do whenever you get ready to start on it is I would start probably with your lightest color first.
Okay. And do I put some of the ink in a paper?
No, I actually squirt my ink directly onto my cup. I hold my cup and I just put a sliver of ink, kind of a straight line, and then I brush it back and forth. But I do it directly on.
Okay. Then you do the lightest color first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you want to make sure you're doing different streaks. You don't need to fill it in. You're not coloring with a marker. You'll do a sliver, then maybe turn your cup, do another sliver. Then you'll come back in the empty space and you'll use a different color.
Okay.
How does it look?
This is how it looks so far. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's just hard. It's hard. Does it look like it's wood grain?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Is that enough for the first coat, or should I keep going?
I would kind of keep going because your darker colors will cover over that. So
Okay.
I would just, and then when you do your strokes, just kind of back and forth because again, you've got to make that wood grain look with your brush.
Yes, okay.
And you guys, I don't know if you can see me, but I'm making sure to get epoxy on the lid of my cup. And I'm gonna also make sure, because I like to glitter the bottom of my cups, I'm making sure that I get on the bottom of my cup too. So you don't want to neglect those areas.
Okay. Okay, that's that. I'm gonna go on with the next color. Do you say it usually takes an hour for this part?
It does for me because I like to stand back and I like to make sure that it looks like wood.
Okay.
You know, so
Well, so far mine is not looking like wood.
it's not.
How long did it take you to perfect this?
Actually, my first cup, it turned out, I liked my first cup. It turned out amazing.
Okay. But you had already done some other things.
Not with the alcohol inks.
Oh, okay.
Not with the alcohol inks.
I think I need a different paintbrush.
You need a chip brush, one of those like brushes that look all wiry and
Yeah, that makes a difference. And it appears to be drying very, very quickly.
yes, the alcohol inks dry really, really quickly. And like, I'll be honest with you, like when I do my alcohol ink, I usually just stick my hand in the cup, turn the cup, paint it, turn the cup and paint it. So
because it dries so quickly. Yeah, that's a good idea.
It dries real quick. Okay. How do the darker colors look? Do they look like wood grain at all?
Yeah, it's beginning to look more like wood grain.
See, so that yellow may have been just way too bright and yellow.
Yeah, that's what it is. So now this is how it's looking.
Oh, see?
But I don't think my strokes are long enough because it's drying too fast.
But that's okay, because you have to remember, whenever you have wood, that you're going to have spots that are dark spots that are light. So even the spots that you've done, you can go over those again. And
Okay.
it'll make, you know, some areas darker or look darker.
Okie dokie.
All right. So whenever I epoxy, one of the last things that I do, because I think I have my cup fully done, I'm looking at it, make sure that I've covered it. And then I will put my heat gun on it. Just in case there's any air bubbles, hopefully it'll go ahead and pop those air bubbles.
Okay.
So, but I'm just making. I think I like what I have.
This is a new cheetah cup. That's what you said. This is your first time to make that particular one?
Well, I've done cheetah before, and it's funny, I posted on Facebook and someone bought it. But I've done one before, but I'm going to do another one, but it's going to be, I'm just going to do the cheetah part at the bottom and keep the top part purple, because they, the customer that wants this cup wants me to put a saying on it. So I figure if I'm putting a decal on it, the decal needs to be solid, or the glitter should be solid where the decal is. Okay. And actually, I'm not sure if I said this in the beginning, but on my 2-part epoxy, I use 10 milliliters of part A and 10 milliliters of part B. And this is a 30-ounce cup. So if you're using a smaller cup, you don't need, on that first layer, you don't need 10 milliliters. I still have some epoxy that I'm going to end up throwing away. So you just need a very little bit, you know, on your first layer. But once you put that glitter on, then you'll need more. It's got to cover that glitter. All right, what's it looking like now, Mia?
It's getting better.
But do you see how you can play with that one almost like an artist, and you can start to,
The darker color, once I put the darker color on, it started looking better. But this dark, I've noticed it's runnier. It's so when I squirt,
and one thing you see is you can't let it drip.
Yeah.
So I think probably the way you have your cup set up is not the best setup, because if yours runs, it's going to run around the cup.
Yeah.
Whereas your wood grain, you know, goes up and down the cup. So when I do mine, I like to hold my cup up or kind of hold my cup down.
I'm taking it.
I like to do it that way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because that when you asked me that question, I couldn't show it to you right away because I had it started streaking, and I wanted to go ahead and try to brush it in before that streak materialized.
If you let it set and you let it streak, then it looks like drops instead of the actual wood grain. It'll look like drops of ink.
Yeah, this looks much better. Thank you. Yeah, it's looking better. The top part is beginning to look. Now I just have to extend it to the bottom.
And then don't forget you have another color. Have you used the other color yet?
No.
So you might want to throw that in a little bit too.
Okay. That's a good thing about it, is it dries very quickly, and then you can go ahead and put another color on. Because with the other paint, you'd have to wait for it to dry.
And while you guys are, you know, anybody who's following us along, I'm gonna let this cup probably turn for about an hour. That way the epoxy can start to go ahead and set before I put my glitter on. So I'm gonna wait probably about an hour, and then I'll come back and I will, I'll put my glitter. I'm gonna end up putting purple at the top of the cup, and then I'm gonna end up doing a brown at the bottom of the cup.
Okay.
Then I will Mod Podge my spots, my cheetah spots. So I have some black and I have some gold to do that with.
Okay, that sounds really pretty. So should we go ahead and pause it now and then we will join you in an hour?
Yeah, we can do that. But while we're pausing it for an hour, continue to work on your cup and perfect. Continue. I mean, that's the beauty of, that's what I like about the alcohol inks. You can, you know, put the alcohol on. If you don't like it, you can, you know, use alcohol to get it off, but not too much alcohol.
Like what kind of drinking alcohol or the rubbing?
Rubbing alcohol.
Oh, okay. I didn't know, Ashley.
Yeah, just rubbing alcohol.
Would that mess it up if you put drinking alcohol on it?
I don't know, but I would not waste my alcohol to find out. Just
to do a test, you wouldn't waste it. Okay,
nope.
Ashley. Okay, this is how it's looking.
Okay, so Mia, that's looking really good.
Yeah.
And then as you start turning it, you're gonna see sides of it that you like, and then you're gonna see sides of it that you don't like. And then you just go in and you keep applying that alcohol ink. And I mean, don't forget your bottom.
Oh yeah.
You know, do the bottom of the cup too. Here, sometimes the bottoms aren't as easy, but I mean, I've done the bottom. Can you see the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. I didn't know you had to do the bottom of it. Nobody's even.
Did you spray the bottom of your cups?
No.
It's what is that, white or is that stainless steel?
It's a little bit of white, but I didn't spray it.
All right. So again, guys, I'm glad we're doing this video. So Mia is learning. So this time Mia may not do the bottom of her cup, but in the cups that she does in the future, she's going to go ahead and spray all of her cups to make sure that they're all fully primered. That way she will alcohol ink the bottom, she will glitter the bottom, she will do that. So just to give it a more finished look.
Okay.
Because another thing that I like to do while you're on there, oh, I already put my cup away. Actually, can I see your cup? So like this is the first alcohol ink cup I did for my husband.
Oh, it turned out good.
And I put a little sticker on there. And
actually that on your Cricut?
No, I actually purchased it. It's it's a bow that he uses, but so and then I printed on the bottom of it.
Oh, I love you. That's nice. I like that. Okay, so I'll note it to do that in the future. Yeah, it's actually turning out pretty cool. I didn't think it was going to look this good. It looks like wood. I think I'll make this one for my hubby. That's a good idea.
So I think what we should do is reconvene in an hour, and then Mia in an hour. And that's why I didn't want you to mix your epoxy, because or unless you want to go ahead and put your epoxy on, but when we come back and I glitter mine, maybe you could epoxy yours.
Okay, that'll work.
All right, we'll see you guys when we come back.
All right.
Bye-bye. It was good to see you again.